What's up, everyone? It's your boy, DJ Harry Nutsack in the building, and I'm about to drop it like it's hot. Can you imagine if you were a first-time listener and that was the opening? I probably just lost you right then and there. What is up, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, and, well, anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and hey, guys, listen. If you're searching on the internet for some weirdo, like, I don't know, like pillow porn or, I don't know, like cardboard porn or whatever the fuck you're into, right? If you're into some kinky, freaky, weird-ass shit, and you're not a movie fan and you accidentally clicked on this podcast, well, I hope you stick around, because I hope I can convince you to be one. This is episode 169, and welcome once again if you are new, if I haven't scared you off already. What I do on this show is I'll take a look at some of the movie news, movie trailers that drop, and I will have reviews of specific movies that come out on that Friday, or, this past Friday, and then box office results for the weekend. So yeah, on this week's show, I'm excited to talk about Cure for Wellness, Gore Verbinski's new mindfuck surrealism trip, and Fist Fight, a comedy from Warner Brothers. So, yeah, and I will also have a brief review of drum roll, please. There's no drum roll. Oh, God, I sound like Chewie getting a Hummer. Gross. Anyways, the kind of surprise mini review I'm going to do for you guys is The Great Wall, because I also saw that. So I actually saw all three releases this weekend. It's just that The Great Wall doesn't really need to go into depth. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it. And then box office. So, but first, before we begin, how are you guys doing? You guys doing pretty good? You guys see any good movies, TV shows, whatever that you can recommend me? I'm always on Netflix, Hulu. I'm always looking for something to watch and whatnot. I did get to see Logan this past Thursday, and if you guys can't wait for podcast form, my review is up on my YouTube channel, and you can click on that. Just find the link in the description below. If you can wait for it, that will be the show in 2 weeks, and I will have Joel on as my guest. And speaking of Joel, I'll also announce another kind of extra episode we're doing this coming week. That should do it for the opening, I guess, guys. Spread this around, give it a like, thumbs up, whatever, comment, share it, and let people know this is the definitive movie podcast. All right. Let's start just some movie news. There's a lot to talk about, this and trailer-wise, so I will not spend too long on them, considering the fact that I got 3 movies to talk about. The first piece of news that I found pretty interesting is that the Coen brothers script for the Scarface remake, triple remake, whatever you want to call it, they are whittling it down to 2 directors that are in talks. They're kind of like in the lead to direct it, if you will, and one of which is Peter Berg, who directed Lone Survivor, Deepwater Horizon, Patriots Day, and that one that his therapist will not allow him to talk about ever again, Battleship. And then, of course, David Mackenzie, who did Hell or High Water from this last year. I like these 2 choices. Not only am I interested in another remake, a kind of a modern telling of this story, and it's going to be written by the Coen brothers, so it's going to be dialogue dense. It's going to have some really great lines in there, some great monologues, and just a really well constructed story. As far as the actual vision of the film, I think these 2 guys could actually do it. When you think about what David Mackenzie did in Hell or High Water, and you kind of have that heist western type of movie, and it's also kind of like a thriller in some regards. It's an amazing an amalgamation of all 3 of those put together. I thought it was delivered very, very well. You have the slowness and the tension building up from the western part of the movie, and you have the tension ratcheted up when we go inside the banks and we start robbing them and whatnot, and then the thriller aspect, because it's basically just a one long chase scene of Jeff Bridges going after Chris Pines and Ben Foster's character. So I think to bring that sensibility into Scarface remake, it's a wonderful choice. Peter Berg is also a great choice. He has made some very okay, very bad movies in the past. But what he's done with Marky Mark, hey, how's it going? It's Mark Wahlberg here. Hey, how's it going? I'm an actor. What he's done with him in terms of this kind of like real, based on a real life, true story trilogy, if you want to call it, he knows how to ground stories in a more kind of realistic sense and have the violence be very impactful and actually mean something and have really great modern heroes and the characters that he's portraying. He knows how to portray them well while not seeming like overly patriotic or just like going to one side and not really exploring anything else. Just he knows how to take a story that was based on true life. He knows how to mold it into an actual narrative that actually feels like it could be fiction. So I think after watching Patriots Day and Deepwater Horizon, I would be totally okay if he were to take the mantle. I like both of these choices. And to have a modern telling of Scarface with the Coen Brothers script, dialogue, story structure, and the vision of one of these two guys, we're looking at a pretty good possibility for another good Scarface remake, because a lot of people tend to forget that the 80s Scarface with Al Pacino, fucking Al Pacino! I don't know what that was. Anyways, that is a remake of the one from the 30s, 40s, or 50s. I forgot. It's one of those decades. It is a year. It came out a year in the 1900s. So, yeah, great news all around. I'm okay with it. The next piece of news is that we have a team up of two people that have worked together before. We have Robert Downey Jr. and Richard Linklater to team up to do a story about Dr. John Brinkley, who basically scammed his way to fame and fortune. Yes, please. Richard Linklater is one of my favorite directors, period. He just is. And he's made a lot of great movies kind of dipping into different genres. He's made a wonderful romance story and trilogy, if you will, with the Before series. He's made a trippy fucking movie with a Scanner Darkly, which that was a movie they worked on together. You think about Boyhood, which is like kind of like his epic life movie. You think of Bad News Bears, which I'm okay with the remake. I don't really care for it, but I'm okay with it. He does have good comedy chops. So when you think of Dazed and Confused and Everybody Wants Some, you think of like, kind of like that poignant experience that everyone's kind of gone through, whether it be in high school or college. And, comedy kind of lies within both of those. So he's kind of dabbled in a lot of different genres and whatnot. But this one, kind of like doing his version of like a Wolf of Wall Street type of deal, I'm okay with it. Like that'd be very interesting. I mean, if you think about it, it must be pretty damn good, like the script or the story, and for Robert Downey Jr. to sign on to this, because as much as I like RDJ, he doesn't really do many smaller films anymore. The thing I really appreciate about Richard Linklater is he's never once felt like, to me, like this big blockbuster director that's doing what the studio wants or whatever. He is a man that does, these smaller films, and yeah, I'm sure he gets studio notes and stuff. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I'm sure that he does get final say in whatever he does, because he's one of those directors that kind of goes to local production studios or companies or whatever, not these bigger ones, to where he's got a little bit more artistic free reign to do whatever he wants. And so that's what I've always appreciated about him, and I'm a little biased because he's from Texas. But this seems like a good matchup. Now, I saw Scanner Darkly a long time ago when I was a teenager. I don't remember much from it. I just remember that the rotoscope watercolor painting, look of it looked pretty cool, but that's all I remember. I need to watch it again, but I do know that they've worked together before, so this should be a natural pairing like him and McConaughey. So, yeah, I'm all down for this. This sounds like a good pairing to me, and I can't wait for it. Richard Linklater is definitely one of those directors to where I don't care what he makes, I'm just excited to see it. The next piece of news, we're back in the no shit piece of news category. I swear to fucking Christ, every single time I'm looking up the news to kind of talk about for each show, I always run across like these fucking articles of like Avengers Infinity War, like, this person's going to be in it. Yeah, no fucking dog shit they're going to be in it. Everyone and their fucking mother's going to be in the movie. But this isn't about Infinity War. This is about a sequel to a movie that's kind of like a no sense, no duh shit. This person's coming back. Michael Douglas is going to come back for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Cool. Can we move on now? Do we have to spend 30 minutes talking about like these other goddamn outlets? I think it's cool that he's coming back. And maybe if they use the de-aging technology even further on him, we can see him as an infant or maybe a toddler. If you guys saw the first Ant-Man, you know what I'm talking about. That de-aging technology that they used at the beginning of that movie was pretty fucking sweet. But him playing Hank Pym, having him and Scott Lang interact again with him and Paul Rudd, and his daughter played by Evangeline Lilly, who's the Wasp, like it makes sense. But yeah, Michael Douglas is one of my favorites to see on screen, and he was a great Hank Pym. So I'm totally cool with that news. The next piece of news is that okay, so because I know Joel is listening right now. Joel and I were about to go see The Great Wall on Wednesday, and he was like, "Did you see the news on Facebook?" I was like, "Oh, well, I really don't want to get into a political headache today, but thanks for asking." And he's like, no. There was a piece of news that dropped about Suicide Squad 2. I was like, the fuck? So I looked up on the news feed, and Mel Gibson is in early talks. He's basically being swooned, if you will, by Warner Brothers to direct Suicide Squad 2. This is interesting. I'm really curious to see. I want to be a fly on the wall in this like conversation or this meeting, because what the hell are they going to say to him to make him or convince him to be like, "Oh, you just got nominated for Best Director for Hacksaw Ridge? Yeah, we want to see you do a sequel to a movie that was really shitty." Hey, so I mean, I don't think he's going to take it. I mean, if he does, I'm interested to see like what he's going to do with it, because regardless of what you think of Mel Gibson as a person and the stuff he's done in his past, which, by the way, can we fucking move on and forgive him already? It's been like 10 goddamn years. Like, he's been in movie jail for a long time. Yes, it was a shitty thing for him to do, and we shouldn't like really forget about it, because we know it's out there in the zeitgeist now, but we can forgive him and we can move on with our lives. That's just my thought on it. But he's a really great director. When you think about Passion of the Christ or Braveheart or Apocalypto and now Hacksaw Ridge, the guy knows how to make really epic feeling films. If he can apply that to Suicide Squad, give each character their moment to shine and give them a little bit more development and not seem so one note and cardboard cutout-y, then I think he could deliver a pretty good sequel. I just don't know if he's going to go from, Hacksaw Ridge to this, because, he's getting acting offers out the wazoo right now, which is fine. It's understandable considering the Oscar nomination, but to direct Suicide Squad 2, I just don't know, like, I did not like the first one whatsoever, and I'm just really kind of curious to see where the hell they're going to, do for the sequel. But if they get Mel Gibson to do it, I just really hope that Mel Gibson's one of these directors that they don't push around. Because it seems like they're pushing around all these directors that are coming on, because we're about to talk about it again in just a second, to where you're bringing on these people and then they leave within a week or a month. And it's like, what happened? Like, if Mel Gibson directs this, it's one of two possibilities. One, he wants to do it and he wants to change the course for the Suicide Squad franchise. Or two, Warner Brothers actually is blackmailing him, and they actually have more leaked voicemail tapes of him, like, saying something anti-Semitic to an ice cream truck person or something. I don't fucking know. So it's an interesting choice. It's a very ballsy choice, that is for sure. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen out of that story. But he's kind of like, he's being swooned right now. So if he's being swooned, that means he's in early talks. They're, talking about it or whatever. So I don't know. I'm just more curious than anything. And following that piece of news, oh my God, I am sick and tired of talking about this shit. So last week, Matt Reeves was in talks to do the Batman. I gave you my thoughts on like what I thought. I thought it was going to be a great choice. And there it goes down the toilet. He's walked out. What is happening over there? Like, I don't fucking understand. Warner Brothers, you hire these directors on because you both have a similar vision. You know, with a little room to spare, you know, some nitpicks or, you know, wiggle room, whatever you want to call it. But at least you're, like, on the same page, like, 99% of the way. You know, you bring these people on, you're in talks with them and stuff, and then they just walk right out. It's almost like they walk into the meeting, you literally have a sign on your fucking chest that says, yeah, we're going to change everything you do. You do not have final say. You have not artistic value. And then they just walk out. Do you fucking blame them, though? Why would they want to spend, like, almost a year of their lives to just be pushed around like that? Now, I understand studio notes are a must, because if you just let the director run free and wild, then you're not going to, sometimes you might not have a good movie. I understand that. But if you're going to bring these directors on and you guys have common ground to move forward on the project, when they deliver the same vision that you both were on and you go, no, I'm going to hack it to shit now, that is a problem. Warner Brothers, fucking stop it. I am so sick and tired of talking about this shit every single week. Please. Get yo shit together. My God. All right. It's sad that we lost him. That would have been a pretty good choice, but whatever. I guess we'll talk about the next director next week, and then the following week we'll talk about them leaving. It'll just be a reoccurring thing. Congratulations, Warner Brothers. You have given this show a drinking game. My God. All right. And the last piece of news, which is a pretty awesome piece of news. Jon Favreau, who is the director of The Jungle Book. He's going to be directing the new live-action Lion King movie, which I think is a pretty good choice considering what he did with the, the visual stylings and just the overall vision of what he had for The Jungle Book. If you apply that to The Lion King, I think it could turn out to be another epic hit for Disney. They got a returning voice back, and they got a new voice. Now, of course, Jonathan Taylor Thomas is out selling tacos somewhere in probably Jersey somewhere. So he was a little unavailable. He was a little too busy. So they actually got Donald Glover to do Simba. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, you know, in the original Simba was also played by an older... the older Simba was Matthew Broderick, so it was both of those guys. Anyways, Donald Glover, I like that, like, quite a bit. You know, like, when people announce, like, actors or actresses for a voice part, I want you to just close your eyes and just hear them talk like in an interview or in another movie, and try to picture it. And usually it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm like, oh, it's such an odd choice. If you listen to Donald Glover talking, kind of like that friendly charisma that he has and just like that confidence in his voice and that playfulness in his voice, I actually think that works very, very well for Simba. So, yeah, that's a great pick for me, so I have no issues with that. And the returning one is James Earl Jones from Mufasa. I have nothing to say about this. Like, this is wonderful. So fucking good to bring him back. I mean, there's really nothing more to say, but I think with that pairing right there, I think it's going to be just as iconic as the original. So I'm really happy about this piece of news. Just wonderful all around. James Earl Jones he's up there with like the Morgan Freemans of the world, where they got that like certain voice where you could just listen to them read audiobooks of Captain Underpants just over and over, and you're like, yeah, I agree. So, so that's it for the news, guys. What was your favorite piece of news? Comment in the place with my face and let me know. Let's talk about some new trailers that dropped. There was a lot of them. There is 7 of them, one of which is TV, but I was like bringing up Netflix and HBO sometimes. And just to be clear, I'm basically biased towards anything Netflix or HBO dropped in terms of trailers because I either watch that show or it just looks good. I don't report on them all. This is just an awareness. For Silicon Valley Season 4, I really love this show quite a bit. I love the chemistry between all the guys and the women on the show. It's a really interesting show. It's very fast paced and it's very sabotagey, and like it almost like dips into like this kind of suspense show, but it's comedy driven. So it's very interesting how they meld the two. The improv is really great. The timing is great. I just love that show so much. They announced the teaser for season 4. Comes out in April. There's nothing more to say. I just want to use this platform to announce to you guys that season 4 is coming. If you watch the show, and if you don't, get on that. All right. Because there's like two big blockbuster movies and then 4 smaller ones. So I'm just really curious to see how I'm going to attack this. Let's start with Let's start with Mean Dreams. Now, if you guys don't know what this is, congratulations. I didn't either until like 2 days ago. This is a movie starring Bill Paxton, and he's got this daughter. This kid wants to date his daughter. He plays like that scary father figure. He's very threatening and kind of borderline insane. I liked it. I thought it was a cool little suspense thriller. It looked like Bill Paxton's going to give one of the creepier performances of his career, and it looks like a good time. Yeah, there's nothing really more to say. So if you're into like those kind of suspense thrillers where like somewhat like you see like one of these actors that you love and forever just cherish, see him kind of unhinged, and you kind of like that, because I do too. Like, have you ever like watched a movie and you're like, man, that's a really cool actor, and then he does a project like 5 years down the road where he plays like this like really kind of deranged, unhinged character. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm glad you're going out of your wheelbox a bit. He kind of reminds me of his character from Frailty, which is a movie he directed. Matthew McConaughey's in it, and Bill Paxton kind of goes a little crazy in that one, so I know he's got it in him. But this one looks like a nice little fun time. I hope it plays at the Dallas International Film Festival, because I will totally go see it. All right, the next trailer. Let's talk about a bigger budgeted one. Colossal. This is the second trailer to this. I talked about the teaser a while back, and now this is the full length trailer. I still like it. It's got like this amazing type of approach to a monster movie, which is comedy, and Anne Hathaway plays the monster that's kind of wrecking the city or whatnot, and her friends are just kind of figuring out how to deal with this, and it's gonna be a comedy with heart, and there's gonna be some drama in there and stuff, because in the trailers, like, she's deemed as an alcoholic and stuff, so I kind of feel like the monster is probably gonna be a metaphor for the demon she's fighting inside of her, with her alcoholism. So, I mean, it's very clever. I really like the trailer. It's stylish. It's funny. It's witty. I'm on board. And the second trailer makes me even more pumped. And it comes out in April, I believe. So, very good trailer. Or very good second trailer. The next one I want to talk about is Dean. This is also a smaller film. It's written and directed by Dimitri Martin. And the reason why I'm bringing this movie up is because the movie itself doesn't look like anything new. This guy meets a girl, very quirky, very indie. I like Dimitri Martin. When I was in college, I remember I watched his stand-up specials. I watched his show for a long time, where he used a lot of like sketches for his humor and whatnot, and he was really clever in his sketches. And I don't know, he's got like this kind of dry wit to him. He's never really like a loud or kind of like in your face comedian. Like, listen, many different types of comedians have different styles, and like, for instance, I love Bill Burr. He's very like in your face, but he's so funny. Dimitri Martin's a little laid back, a little bit more calm in his delivery, a little drier, and he's also really funny. So the fact that I've been a fan of this guy since college days, with his show and his stand-up and whatnot, to see him actually write and direct a movie and star in it, essentially, I liked it. I thought it was, like a nice little indie, quirky comedy drama. And it looks like he can deliver a movie very well, story-wise, and with humor. The trailer was actually kind of funny. I was like, all right, Dimitri, you had my curiosity, and now you have my attention. So I thought this was a pretty cool little trailer and whatnot. So if you're a fan of Dimitri Martin, watch this trailer, and if you're not, check him out. You might like him. The next trailer I want to talk about is Mine, which stars Armie Hammer And the reason why I bring this one up is because I really, really am a sucker for the guilty pleasure known as the one location movies, where a movie is set in literally one room, one location, does not move, and goes for the full hour and a half, 2 hours, however long your movie is. Mine stars Armie Hammer. He plays someone in the military, and him and his friend get lost in this desert, and the desert is laced with a bunch of mines, and so that he basically has to stand there because he can't move. He has to, call for help, use fire, use his walkie, which I'm assuming gets busted at some point, or it probably happened in the trailer and I just forgot. But I really, like I said, I'm a sucker for these types of movies. It looks very suspenseful. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it's gonna keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time. I really like it, and I like these one location war movies that are coming out, because the other one I talked about with Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think it's called The Wall, where they're basically in this like gunfire against the enemy, and they him and his buddy hop behind a wall, and these the enemies are pointing guns at them. And they say, we're not going to move, and so they're basically stuck behind this wall and have to figure out what to do. And it's kind of got that same feel to it. So I really like it. I like the fact that Armie Hammer is getting lead roles now, and doing smaller films like this really helps, because ever since I saw him in The Social Network, I was like, dude, this he's dynamite. He really is. And so I'm always excited to see new Armie Hammer stuff, and I'm really excited to see him in the Brie Larson and Charlotte Copley film Free Fire that also comes out in March. So yeah, he's gonna have a good year for sure. The next trailer I want to talk about is The House. This one stars Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler, and I always forget his last name, but it's Jason M. And he played Rafi on The League, which is one of the funniest characters I've ever seen in any television program. And I like the actor, too. He's got some of the best comedic timing and improv I've ever seen. The House has Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler. They are a married couple, and their daughter has to go to college. So the guy, Jason M., he suggests that they should open up a casino in their basement, which is highly illegal, but it starts to grow and whatever, and they start to become really well known around the block and whatnot, and comedy ensues. When I first heard about this, I was really excited to see it. I didn't care for the trailer. It was not funny one bit. I love Amy Poehler, and I really like Will Ferrell quite a bit. I am not a hater of any of these two actors. It's just that trailer did not win me over whatsoever. So maybe, like I said, I am always optimistic with comedies. Maybe it's one of those instances where they just don't show any of the good jokes in the trailer, and they have all the good stuff in the movie. I just didn't think the trailer really... all these jokes are flying at you all fast and hard and raunchy and stuff, and it's just like, I've heard all these jokes before. It looks like nothing was really kind of creative or whatever, and I had the same problem with when I saw the fist fight trailer. Speaking of the movie we're about to talk about today, it's just that nothing was funny in the trailer, and sometimes it could go either way, to where like, yeah, it's actually representing the movie and there's nothing funny in the movie, or they're saving all the good stuff for the theater. Case in point, on the opposite end, Bridesmaids. I didn't think that trailer was funny at all. It didn't look interesting to me, but I saw the movie and I liked it. So I mean, I have no clue. But this one did not win me over. But I'm still optimistic, because I do like all three of those people. And the last trailer, which is basically going to be the more horrific version of La La Land, Song to Song. This one stars Rooney Mara, Natalie Portman, Michael Fassbender, and Ryan Gosling. And the plot is basically a couple love triangles set with the music scene of Austin. That's about it. But it's from Terrence Malick, and Terrence Malick is well known in the film geek community. I really like the trailer quite a bit. I can't remember the last time I saw a Terrence Malick movie. Oh, shit. This is actually embarrassing. I don't think I've seen one. You know what? We do this show live, and, I love you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this right now. There's got to be at least one, right? Hold on. Guys, this is one of those cases where, like, I want to know, like, what is happening right now. I don't want to lie to you guys. I feel like I've seen one. Like, I'm blanking. What the fuck has he done? I know what he's done, but I'm just like, what have I seen? Terrence Malick. Oh, I saw the thin red line. Okay, there you go. I did not see The Tree of Life. Did not see A New World, Badlands, Knight of Cups, To the Wonder. Yeah, I think I've only seen The Thin Red Line, which was a pretty great war movie. Okay, so I need to see more of his movies. This might be the second one I see because I really did like Song to Song. I thought the style of the film had the free floating form of cinematography that Terrence is pretty well known for at this point. The acting looks really good. It just looks like a really cool love story about betrayal and obsession and just stabbing people in the back. And I love that. I love all four of these actors. I thought they all looked good. So I'm pumped for it, actually. So maybe this will be my second one I ever see, and hopefully the first one I see in theaters. And it's not like I don't like his movies. Or his movies don't look interesting to me. I just, it's just one of those instances where, I either miss the press screening or these movies fly by me and I don't get a chance to see them and there's other shit to watch. So, it's just one of those unfortunate circumstances. Not because I don't think that none of his trailers look good, because I think his trailers through his films, always look gorgeous and intriguing. And I'm just like, yeah, I want to fucking see this, but I just never get around to it. But Song to Song looks really good. So what about you guys? What are your favorite trailers of the week? Comment in place with my face and let me know. Guys, the appetizers are out of the way. I fed you guys. I got you prepped. I got you fucking amped up for the main course. The deliciousness of the movie reviews of this week. So, the reviews on the docket, like I said earlier, is A Cure for Wellness, Fist Fight, and I will do a mini review of The Great Wall. I think I'm going to start out with Fist Fight first, because A Cure for Wellness is a little bit more. I can go into depth in the review. Fist Fight, there's not really much to go off on. So let's start with Fist Fight. Just saw it this morning. I wasn't really looking forward to this. Like I said, I did not like the trailers whatsoever. They did not look funny to me. However, I am a huge fan of Ice Cube and Charlie Day. Charlie Day is a part of one of the best comedy shows ever on television. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Ice Cube is a really funny fucking man. When you think about what he's done in 21, 22 Jump Street, he just has like that snarkiness to his humor, which actually works out very well in his favor because he plays like that tough guy, and everything that he does is just super hilarious, whether it just be like a deadpan face or the way he says a line. It's just, he's really good at his own style of comedy. So yeah, I'm a fan of both. So what did I think of Fist Fight? Let's get real and break it down. Let's start with the writing and directing, because for comedies, this is where it makes or breaks a film. As far as the actual writing and the story goes and the characters involved, the story itself is basically a one-note joke for an hour and 40 minutes. That's not an issue, because I was actually entertained by the movie. The issue is the comedy. The way the comedy is structured is just like any other raunchy R-rated movie. Is maybe got some flavors of improv thrown in there by Charlie Day or whatever. The jokes were like a 40-60 split, where I thought 40% of the jokes worked and I thought 60% just fell flat on its face, or they were just trying way too hard to appeal to the gross and raunchy crowd. But with that being said, the ones that actually hit very, very well. And some of them caught me off guard, and I was like, that was really fucking hilarious. Like, I enjoyed that joke. But that does not make up for the quality of a film, when you're only hitting your jokes at 40%. Now, if you're hitting, pretty high in your jokes, whatever, that does make your movie, considering the fact that it is a comedy. But for this case, no. So, I thought the jokes were a 40-60 split. The characters themselves, Charlie Day plays, like kind of the wimp, the worm or whatever, and Ice Cube plays the tough guy. And of course, throughout the film, we see, Charlie Day, muster up the courage to do it and stuff. And, he has a slight character transformation. We know a little bit more of his life. What's really odd about this movie is that Ice Cube's character doesn't really have anything. And maybe they're kind of playing to the mystery of his character, considering the fact that the mystery of his background and his other careers, besides being a teacher, to the students is a little muddied. And it's like that telephone game where you tell someone and it like changes as you keep telling people. So maybe they were playing along with that, but there's really nothing to his character. I'm not even joking. Like, you could have given me like the most basic story of him having like a family or something or what, but there's nothing. You literally just see him at school, and that's it. So I don't know. That character was a little weak to me. Just very one note, but all the characters are one note. But like I said, just give me like a little bit to work with in this comedy. At least Charlie Day had something that he was kind of working towards, and trying to be confident for his wife and his kid and whatnot. So yeah, it was just kind of weird to me that there was literally nothing about him. And all the other characters, the supporting characters, they're just one-liners. I mean, that's basically what they are. They're just produced one-liners that just are coming into a situation, say one line, and then go back out, and then get back to the main crux of the movie with Ice Cube and Charlie Day. So yeah, the characters, not so much. What's really interesting about the story is that this film has actually taken a slam on, or giving a slam to the public education system and how broken, how shitty it is in this country, and considering the fact who we just nominated for Secretary of Education. It looks like it's going to go down that way. So this movie did have a message to give, and which I found intriguing, and was like, oh, okay, they're basically saying that the public school system is pretty garbage, which to some extent it is. But when you have some of these characters, really doing like these outlandish things that could literally get you like fired or arrested, and they just kind of shrug it off like it's nothing, that's kind of an issue, and it's like it's not really realistic. But then again, it's two teachers fighting in a parking lot and everyone's for it, so it's not really realistic to begin with. Directing wise, like I said, I thought 40% of the jokes worked, and the way the directing works in a comedy is that you gotta nail those jokes perfectly with the camera angles, the editing, and the timing. It's all got to come together for the joke to actually hit. And most of these jokes are rapid fire. They're coming at you left and right. And like I said, it only worked less than 0.5% for me. But I thought the overall direction, entertainment-wise, was actually pretty good. I thought it was a very, very watchable comedy. Like I said, there was a couple jokes that made me laugh, and I almost ended up crying because of them. But I thought the energy of the film was actually like spot on, and it does play out this one note stretched out for an hour and 40 minutes to an actual I was actually entertained by the entire thing. So directing wise, yeah, pretty decent job for it. Acting wise, once again, Ice Cube, very, very good at what he does. Charlie Day, he's got good comedic timing, and he is a good actor overall. So I mean, and then the side characters: Tracy Morgan, Jillian Bell, Christina Hendricks. Literally could have been anyone else. I don't know why she was in this. She was in like 3 scenes. Yeah, everyone was fine. Like I said, they were basically just there for one-liners. I mean, but that's fine, I guess. So yeah, the acting was, it was fine. Cinematography-wise, it's a comedy, which means it's going to be overblown with this soft-ass lighting. There's going to be no harsh shadows, no nothing. It's just going to be overblown, white. It's going to look like a mental hospital the entire time. That's just comedy's aesthetic nowadays. So cinematography is not really worth even mentioning. Editing-wise, the movie's about an hour and 40 minutes, but like I said before, it's got the energy and a nice rhythm to it to where I don't think you'll be bored, and you'll kind of like have that anticipation build up to the actual fist fight, and that's what you're kind of there for in the first place. So you're just kind of waiting for that to actually happen. Which, by the way, when we get to the actual fist fight, it's okay. It's not like the most disappointing thing ever, but when your title's called Fist Fight and you're leading up to this, like, it's fine. Yeah. So I mean, I think the build up to it is like I said, entertaining enough, but the payoff for the end is I guess satisfactory, which is like the worst thing to get in grade school. Instead of like, oh, you did an okay job, you did a satisfactory job. So, yeah, overall, guys, I thought this movie was average in terms of a comedy. I thought the entertainment and energy levels were there. The jokes were a lot more miss than hit than I thought. But I do still love Charlie Day and Ice Cube, and they did give it their all. I'm gonna give Fist Fight just a straight up C, right down the middle, smack dab. But like I said, there were a couple jokes that made me roll out of my seat, and I was like, dude, that was pretty good. It just caught me off guard, and the timing was there, so there you go. What'd you guys think of Fist Fight? Comment in place with my face, and let me know. All right, let's get on to A Cure for Wellness. Now, I was really excited for this movie. I love director Gore Verbinski. I love his visionary style of his films. They always have like this eerily surreal and visceral realism to everything he does, and I just think he's so unique in what he delivers and what he puts out, to where when he is coming out with a new movie, I am always excited. So I saw the trailers to this, I'm like, yeah, it's got like the creepiness of like The Ring, and like the epic scope and nature of like one of his Pirates films. So I don't know, this could be pretty interesting, right? I liked it with some caveats. So let's get real and break down A Cure for Wellness. So let's start with the writing and directing. The writing in particular and the actual story, Dane DeHaan plays a young exec who has to go to this wellness center and fetch his CEO, and then, he ends up staying there a little bit longer than he should, and he starts to uncover the mystery of the actual building. That's all the story I want to tell you, because I don't want to get into spoiler territory, so there you go. As far as the actual story goes itself and its structure, I thought it was intriguing. It was like this kind of slow burn mystery that was playing in front of you, and you're like, man, this is just so fucking weird and mysterious. Like, I just want to see how this movie ends. And 90% of the movie was fascinating. The last 10% is where I have an issue with it. But this is one of those cases where it's not such a bad thing to where it just ruins the entire experience for me. It's just one of those things where, like, if your movie's going to be 2.5 hours long and you're going to have, like, all this great buildup, and then you have this, like, weird, rushed, thrown together ending that just, it felt cheaper than its own story that it was trying to, I don't know, it's just, the ending did not really necessarily work for me, but it's not one of those that deters from my overall experience with the movie I watched. So the actual story, like I said, I really like it. I like kind of like the mythos of the building. I like just the way it's kind of structured in terms of how slow it does progress with its story and its characters to basically play off the fact that as Dane DeHaan is going insane in the movie, you go insane as well while watching the insanity of the movie. So it kind of plays along with the audience in terms of how the story goes and whatnot, and then it just slams you with the fucking weird at the very end of it. As far as the actual characters go, Dane DeHaan is interesting to see him kind of mentally break down and kind of, really get enveloped in this building was fun. Mia Goth, her character was really well done. She had kind of like this subdued, kind of alluring, like, type of vibe that she was given, and like you just wanted to like hear her talk and just like have her describe the building and stuff. And I really liked her character and stuff. Very unpredictable where the story and some of these characters went. Jason Isaacs was a really very aggressive, creepy doctor that was in the building, and everyone else character wise was pretty well thought out and stuff, and was just there for the ride basically. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the writing. Some of the dialogue might have been a little iffy, but other than that, that's pretty much it with the writing. It literally just relies on the ending. That for me, that this is kind of like a downer. I honestly thought it was just jumbled and rushed, and when you're building up for that long of a movie, I just thought it was a very unsatisfying type of ending, and just didn't have like as much weight as I wanted it to. But going into the directing style and what Gore Verbinski did is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's magnificent. It's creepy. It's eerie. What he does with his movies, regardless of what you think of them, he knows how to shoot. He knows how to direct. He knows how to build tension. He knows how to edit his films and how he wants to progress the story. he's got a visual flair to him that I don't think anyone can match. He uses a lot of the greens and blues in his movie in terms of tints and how he lights scenes and whatnot, and kind of adds like this old school horror type of vibe to it. When I was watching the movie, it kind of reminded me of like an old era like Vincent Price horror movie, and just the creepy, like the creepy haunted house type of movie or whatever. I don't know. I really kind of dug the visual aesthetic of the film, and I think Gore Verbinski knows how to frame shots. They're very meticulously lit, composed, and to really kind of add just the overall type of terror and suspense that he's trying to portray. So I really kind of dug the visual cues and look of the film. That is definitely no problem with the movie. And also, ironically, since his first name is Gore, the violence in the film I thought was very effective, and it wasn't overdone. It was very graphic and in your face, but I thought it was kind of really, like I said, effective, because if you show a lot of violence, as the movie kind of goes on, you start to get desensitized to it, and you're like, it's not really hitting me as much as I want. But like, we'll have a bunch of talking scenes, and he'll just do something really kind of in your face and violent, and you're like, whoa, like that actually made me like kind of like shiver my seat a little bit. So good job, Gore. So yeah, I just had to touch upon that. Acting wise, everyone is wonderful. Dane DeHaan, I'm so glad to finally get to see him have a major prominent role in the movie, because everything I've seen of him in so far, he's just supporting. So this, and then Valerian, A City of a Thousand Planets comes out later this year. He will be the co-lead with Cara Delevingne, but this is the first time where he's actually like, the main character, and we kind of follow him and see the progression of his acting. And I thought he did very well, being a stern businessman in the front, and then becoming this psychotic nut job towards the end, just trying to figure out the fucking questions that have been thrown to him about the building. Mia Goth, I liked her in Nymphomaniac. I thought she had some talent, and I thought she was very promising. So seeing her in this, she was good. She was like this person who's been sheltered her whole life, and she didn't really know how to interact with the outside world, and I thought she delivered that pretty well. And then, like I said, everyone else very creepy and very involved in the scenery to make it even creepier and stuff. So I really dug the acting in this film quite a bit. Cinematography, once again, so gorgeous and so beautiful. You could actually stop any frame and hang it up as a painting. It's one of those types of movies, and it's just gorgeous to look at. It's real. It's a real location. It's a real house. And also, I got to touch upon one of the scenes at the beginning. It was filmed inside of a car, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That was really cool. Not only did it look realistic, but I loved the way the camera was placed, and it had like this anti-gravity look to it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Gore Verbinski always like tries different techniques. Sorry, of using the camera, placing it in a certain way, and providing kind of a unique take on cinematography, and not make it so flat and boring. Because when your movie is this long, you got to make it visually stimulating. Which leads me into the editing. Like I said, the movie's 2 hours and 26 minutes. I was intrigued for like 90% of it. And then when we get to the ending and the climax of the third act, it's like, it's just going all over the place. I'm like, what the fuck movie did this turn into? And like, I understand it's like, being weird and kind of creepy, considering, the movie is all like that. So I get that, but it's just, it didn't really have any weight to me. It just caused more confusion than anything. I was just like, the last bit of the third act was a little slow, just because I was like just confused the whole time. I was like, what is happening? So, but I thought the actual pace of the film from start to 90% of it was actually really well done, and it had me hooked, and my curiosity was kind of flowing. I was like, oh shit, what the hell's going to happen next? I want to know, like, what's your background? Like, what's his motives over there? Like, it was a lot of fun to watch, and really kind of, it got you into this like horror, suspenseful vibe, and I really dug that. And the music was really well done too. It kind of just, once again, add another layer, chipping away at layers, just add another one. and kind of add to the overall like eerie mystery that surrounds the building and the history behind it. So, guys, overall, I really like the movie, and the more I thought about it after I watched it, I really enjoyed it. But that ending, I'm telling you, it's a little too much for me, and it actually does knock down my grade quite a bit, because I was going to give this movie a B+. But with that ending and just how rushed and jumbled it was, and even the last frame of the movie is a little questionable, I got to dip it down to a B-. I just think that overall, the directing, the acting, the cinematography, and the editing, for the most part, is so well done that minor complaint on the end of the movie, it does not make me go, well, that movie is just fucking awful. Because there's a lot more aspects about the movie that, I really like, so I can't really just be like, oh, that just ruins everything. Because there are certain movies to where the end does ruin it, but all the other aspects about the film were so shitty that it just makes the movie even worse. So, I did dip it down, though. I was going to give it a B+, but I think a B- from me is respectable. So what did you guys think of A Cure for Wellness? Have you even heard of it or whatever? Comment in the place on my face and let me know. And a brief review on The Great Wall. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to do it under 30 seconds. You guys ready? All right, 1, 2, go. So The Great Wall has shitty acting, a terrible Boston Cockney Irish accent that flows in and out of the movie, and towards the end of the movie, it's not even fucking heard of from Matt Damon's character. The characters are one note. No one's really developed well. The acting is very bland, subpar. The story, it's all over the place, and the battle sequences that the director does, the first one, second one, and third one, it doesn't even amp up in tension and excitement. It just kind of dribbles out like a flaccid penis. I will say this. The visuals are good, and the director knows how to blend in practical CGI and green screen so well that I really enjoyed the visual aesthetic of the creatures, the Great Wall itself, and the battle sequences. Everything else beyond that was stupid. I didn't care for anyone. And there was a lot of stuff that just didn't really make any sense. Or it was just happening so fast because they had to wrap up the movie. It was a mess, guys. And I think the worst part of it was the acting for sure. And the actual care and development of the story and the characters. So, but visually, it's very good. I gave... I'm going to give The Great Wall a C-. I think the visuals are so good, I can't dip it down to the D category. You know what's really weird about this movie is I don't recommend you see it, but if you want to, go see it in a theater, because it actually is one of those movies you need to see on the big screen and not on your phone. So this is a very weird movie for me to suggest, because I don't want to suggest it to. I honestly I do not like the movie whatsoever. But if cat got your tongue and the curiosity, ant bit your ass, I don't know, is that a saying, and you want to see it, go to the theater instead of renting it. It's the visual styling of it is very gorgeous, very watercolory almost, and it's very it's almost too good to be true type of deal. So The Great Wall, C- for me. So to run down the grades real fast, guys, I gave a C to Fist Fight, a B- to A Cure for Wellness, and a C- to The Great Wall. Kind of a bland weekend, so my pick this weekend obviously is A Cure for Wellness. Let's get into the box office results for the weekend, guys. I actually have not looked at the numbers yet, so this is all new to me. Ooh, I'm excited. All right. Oh, that's bad. Okay, A Cure for Wellness came in at number 10 with $4.2 million on a $40 million budget, which means it needs to make about $80 million to double that for theater cut. On P&A and marketing, I'm gonna assume $100 million, because they did a lot of promos and stuff for Super Bowl. And I know they got a discount, but that's still money, baby. So, $100 million to break even. It made $8 million worldwide. That is really bad. Yeah, it's rocking like a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that doesn't really help. All right, so moving on to the actual top 5. Number 5, Fist Fight, which I didn't really care for. I thought A Cure for Wellness was better, and Fist Fight made more. Whoops. So domestically, which is the U.S. and Canada, it made $12 million. Its budget is unknown, but I think, for a comedy like that, it probably costs like $30 million maybe. So maybe $70 million to break even. I don't know. It might have legs. Probably not. All right, so number 4, John Wick Chapter 2, Hail to the Fuck Yeah, was $16.5 million. Right now, domestically, it's up to 58, and worldwide, it's up to 90. It's doing way better. It's already on a path to do way better than the first one. Let me just check those numbers real fast since we're doing this live, because why the fuck not? Oh, wow. So John Wick, the first one, its total domestic haul was 43. And its total worldwide haul was 88. It's already up to 90 worldwide and already up to 58 domestically, which means this movie's already kicking its own predecessor's ass. Like, that's fucking awesome. Number 3, The Great Wall with $18 million. Its budget is one of the most expensive, I think it is the expensive Chinese production, $150 million. So it needs to make about, I want to say like 325, maybe 330. I don't know how much marketing they did. Maybe more. I'm going to say 350 just for shits and giggles to break even. It made 18 domestically. Yikes. And it's made 262 worldwide. It made 244 overseas because it's been out in China for a while. It might break even. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. It'll probably break even. So not really a good investment. I guess not the worst one either. Number 2, 50 Shades Shittier. Did you see what I did there? I'm the only critic on the web to actually make that joke. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone calls it that. So that made $20 million more than last weekend. Fuck. Or $20 million to add on what it made. Oh, fuck. Domestically it made 89 and worldwide it's at 276. Fuck! The budget is 55, which means if you double that, you're looking at 110. And with P&A marketing, I'm going to assume maybe 140, 150 to break even. It's made 276. Oh my God. I guess what we can take away from this is that there's only one more to go, and then after that, it'll be done. There you go. And for the second week in a row, the Lego Batman movie takes number 1 with 34 more million. Right now, wow, it's actually about to break the century mark almost. It will definitely do it this week. It's at 98 million domestically, and it's at 170 worldwide. Its production budget was 80 million. Double that, we're looking at 116 with its P&A marketing, which there was a shit ton. I'm going to say 200 to break even. The fact that it's already at 170 is very, very good because I think the Lego Batman movie will have legs. It will continue to make more money and just kind of chip away at the box office. So that is very good considering the fact that it was a good movie. Guys, that will do it for this week's show. I want to thank you for listening. You guys are always fucking awesome. For next week, episode 170, it will be my review of Get Out. So that will be the main portion of next week's show, and of course, news, trailers, and all that stuff. Yeah, there's nothing really more to say. So, yeah, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at RealChaseLee. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube page, do that. Link will be in the description below. And my Logan review is up if you want to get a early review on it. If not, you can wait until March 5th for that episode when I review that as the main movie. So, what else? Yeah, just remember to subscribe, like, comment, do all that shit. Spread this around. And let people know this is one hell of a good podcast. It's not the best. It's not the greatest. It's a good one. It's a solidly good one. Fuck. Damn it. So, yeah, next week, guys, Get Out, episode 170. And the following week will be over Logan. So there's your 2-week forecast for this show. Yeah, so I'm Chase Lee, guys, and if you guys are listening to us during the day, during the night, whenever the hell, I hope you have a good day or a good night. And yeah, listen, if you made it through this entire podcast and you were not a movie fan, well, hopefully I, solo dolo, Chase Lee, convinced you to be one. Reel Me In, a movie podcast. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week. And the intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Link in the description to check them out is below, as well as everything in the description. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.